Hello, let me ask you something. Have you ever taken a personality test and thought, wow, this describes me perfectly? Or maybe the opposite. This is too simple. Humans are more complex than four letters. Because in this video, we're going to delve into the topic of taking the psychological tests, for instance, MBTI, and what they really tell about you and how you can actually benefit from the knowledge. And if you like the video, just let me know your thoughts in the comment section. And so the MBTI personality test, what is it really? Where does it even come from? Or why millions of people love it? And whether it actually tells the truth about who you are or it's just like nonsense. By the way, I feel like I look really handsome with the cap and the sunglasses and the goatee. So, just making some fun kind of gestures. So it's not really a very strict kind of thing. So it's a fun video at the same time. So it's not just about the psychology, this is about the identity and the behavior and also the self awareness. But you might be curious and ask me, what is MBTI? Well, it's a Myers-Briggs kind of indicator of the type of character that you are. So you might be asking, like, okay, based on what? Based on the ideas of some psychologists, it was made, and the simple goal was to understand how people perceive the world and how they make decisions. So MBTI doesn't measure intelligence or the mental health. It measures your preferences. For example, if you're an introvert or an extrovert, like being right or left-handed. So the four MBTI dimensions are like the basic of the concept of the four dimensions include one of them is that you either are given I or E. E for like introvert or extrovert. Like you prefer to when for example you're out with the strangers, you prefer to start a conversation or you prefer to not start a conversation. For example, I myself, when I took the exam, my results were like really close, but I'm more of an introvert. I prefer not to start a conversation, but when it's started, maybe because of the job that I had previously, I was an English instructor and teacher, I had to engage the students. I can keep the conversation going and everything, but at the same time, I prefer not to initially start the conversation. So I'm more of an introvert personally. So just for you to get the idea where the introvert or the extrovert comes from. Or let's say you can love the people and still be an introvert, and you can be an extrovert but still need to spend some time being alone. So you get the idea. The other one is that you are either S or N. S is for sensing, and N is for intuition. For example, how you take the information, because humans look at the same thing but they have different conceptions. And the sensing type would focus on the facts and the details, the reality, and what's proven. But the intuitive type would focus on the patterns and the ideas and the possibilities and the future. Why is it important? Because based on that, you can understand the proper job that you might actually have, the proper kind of partner that you might have. And if you know yourself and how your brain works, your chances of success would significantly increase. So, what is happening? What could happen? So, these are about this kind of part. And about the third part is about thinking or feeling. You think more or you feel more. So, what does that mean? So, this is about the decision making, not the emotions. So, thinking types decide using the logic, consistency, and objective analysis, whereas the feeling types decide using the values, the harmony, and the human impact. So they like feeling in the feeling kind of part. So what makes sense for you in this kind of part? Or what feels right? Is it like more rational or more emotional? Both are like quite similar to some extent, but at the same time, humans have different tendencies in the conception. For example, I myself am more of a thinker, so I would be in the T. The next one, the number 4, would be you're either judging or you're perceiving. So it's like the first letter J for judging and P for perceiving. Because after the test, you would be given 4 letters. And based on the 4 letters, you can come into the conclusion that this is your personality type. And using that kind of 4 letters, you can go and search and find out who was a celebrity with the same personality type. How can this benefit you? You can understand what job is the best for you, whether, and also you might be like, okay, is it accurate or not? Well, if you take the time and answer properly, yeah, it will be accurate based on your conception. You can take the exam and find out for yourself. And then you can delve deep into it and know yourself more, because if you know yourself more, then you can have a better kind of chance of let's say making a good communication. So in this, the judges prefer structure or plans or the closure, whereas the P ones, what was the P one, the perceiving type, they would prefer flexibility and option and having different kind of scenarios. Judges feel calm when things are decided. Perceivers feel calm when things are open. So it's the basic, as we said, the things can be different. So 4 letters, right? 4 letters can give you, each of them, 2 different things. So it would give you, all, in total, it would give you 16 personality different types when you combine these 4 dimensions. For example, we have the beginning I, then the next one would be 3 other digits. For example, it can be INTJ, would be introvert, and what is that? It's called the strategic, independent, long-term kind of thinker. And that person would be known as the personality of an architect. And that architect would be an introvert, would be alone most of the time, but thinking, trying to understand the structure behind the things. And there are only 2% of people actually in the whole world with this kind of personality type. You can write down in the comment what your personality type is and what kind of job resonates the best with that type. And then you can plan for the future ahead. What else? You might be thinking, for example, we have INFP. What is that? It's like, he's an introvert also, but it's like idealistic and the value-driven kind of creative. We have ISFJ. You might be like, okay, well, what are these kind of initials? Well, if you take the test, you're going to have different results. At the end, they're going to give you a 4-digit. So this one, ISFJ, would be loyal, practical, and protective. So each of these types have their own kind of strength, blind spots, and stress behaviors. So your type doesn't limit you, it explains your default settings and what you would do in a certain kind of way. So why MBTI feels so accurate? Well, MBTI feels accurate because it gives the kind of details and the language to things you already feel on a personal behavior, and you can explain it right now, because before this you have some feelings but you don't know how to explain it. It normalizes the differences instead of judging them, and it explains the conflict without blaming people. So instead of saying you're lazy, you can say you process time differently. You see, it's in a different kind of word. Paraphrasing a phrase. That alone can save relationships and workplace and self-esteem. So criticism and limitation can be judged differently, I suppose. So to be honest, psychologists criticize MBTI because it also has some flaws. It's not the best test. People can get different results at different times, and it uses categories, not a spectrum, because it's not like this or that. Is sometimes on a spectrum from 0 to 10. It's like a ratio between that, because the world is not a black or white kind of place. It's more of a grayish kind of scale. On the middle you can find something, and your result can also change, because throughout the time you will change, because you 5 years ago versus you today are two different people, because your concept kind of changes, and your default setting on talking to people, doing things will completely change as well, and that is a very common thing these days. So yeah, let me note down comments what you guys think, and you can understand this. The problem is when people say, for example, I'm like this, so I cannot change it, but that's wrong. So you can actually work on it, and you can say, okay, this is my characteristics. I would be best aligning with someone like a partner that would be like this, because sometimes you would look good and the other person looks good, but down the attitude it doesn't match, because deep psychologically you two will function completely different, like you from two different kind of planets, because same scenario, same question, you feel something, the other partner feels something completely different. So it would be very difficult to like explain everything together all the time, like having conflicts. So you would feel like that, you will feel the exam, then you have the idea, okay, this is your kind of personality, and this is the type of personality that you can work with the best way. So with your partner you can attract that one, and it will be a really good feeling, a really helpful environment. Otherwise, if you would be hanging out with someone that is different, they think completely differently, and they push you too much based on the IMBT test, the scores, then you're always gonna be feeling uncomfortable. So that's also gonna be a good idea. So the MBTI helps you to communicate better, understand the conflicts, choose healthier kind of path and partners, and growth happens outside the comfort zone indeed. But your personality type is not your identity or is not your destiny. It's a starting point that it doesn't tell you who you are exactly. It kind of clarifies and helps you understand why you are the way you are. I hope that you can understand this. It doesn't say, okay, you are, for example, INT something. It says this is your default kind of behavior, and it can help you clarify a lot of things, and once you understand that, you can choose who you want to become. And if this video help you understand yourself a little bit more, like the video, subscribe, and comment your MBTI type below. And yeah, so if you like this video, probably you're gonna like one of these two videos that pop up. And I believe it's a very interesting kind of topic, because for instance, if you are, for example, INTJ, your gift is not fitting in, it's seeing what others cannot see. So you can work on this and then conclude it to a way that you would feel understandable of what you default kind of behavior would be. And yeah, that's all. I hope that you liked the video, and yeah, take care until the next one.